Welcome to Stitching Up Trouble, a podcast where a quilt retreat owner and a creative quilt designer cross paths and stitch up some trouble together. I am Mary, owner of Coosa Mountain Lodge.
And I'm Heidi Pridemore of the Whimsical Workshop. Hope you enjoy.
Well, hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am good. So
All right.
we are recording 2 in a row. We just finished up recording our recap of H&H, but because both of us are going to be on vacation, we wanted to record a second one so that we had content, so you guys didn't miss us too much while we were gone. So
I know. We just want to be consistent with you guys. So If you're watching this on YouTube, yes, we are wearing the same clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so what are we going to talk about in this podcast?
So I think that you have done a lot of teaching and talking over the last few podcasts, which has been very helpful and interesting to me. I think maybe this time I'll take a little bit of that off your shoulders and we'll talk a little bit about what I know about. So it should be a really short one.
Oh, stop.
So I'm just going to go through some pointers on how to make your retreat more fun. So things that I've seen groups do.
Yeah. You've seen all of it.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit. So it's been really fun over the last almost 6 years. We bought the lodge 6 years ago in June. So
So when you know groups, because you get a lot of repeat groups. So when you know certain groups are coming in, do you anticipate different needs for the groups, or do they all kind of do the same thing?
So it's very interesting how wide of a range of groups that I do get there. And most of them are quilters, but some of them are there for the social aspect. I joke with some of them, like they're supposed to leave Sunday morning and I don't think they've turned on their machines on Saturday afternoon yet. Like it's Saturday afternoon and nobody's turned on a machine. Yeah. And then there's some groups that are there, they are on a mission. They, they don't get to sew a lot when they're at home. So they want to get some stuff done while they're there. So they don't go anywhere. They don't plan any extra games. They want to get stuff done. So, and then there's the whole spectrum, everything in between. So it is fun. And you know, each group does have a different personality. So it's fun to.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, I only get to see some of them, but I know that some are just going to be wild and loud and all over the place, and others are going to be really, really sedate. So, all right. So what are your tips to having a good time at a quilt retreat?
So to me, the first and most important thing in order to enjoy a retreat is to understand that you're going on a retreat. Come with a good attitude. You are there to spend time with other people. You are there to get inspired by other people, have the fellowship, have the time together, and just understand that you're not going to sleep as good as you sleep at home. Although some people tell me they sleep better at Coosa Mountain Lodge than they do at home. You're not going to eat the same that you eat at home because a lot of times you have other people fixing meals for you. You don't have your sewing room set up. So you don't have all of your tools. You can bring whatever you want to work on, but there's a limit to what you can fit in your vehicle to come. So just kind of understand that you're going there to relax and have fun and to be with other people and manage your expectations that way. Like understand you're going to be a little bit tired at the end of the retreat because you're going to stay up later. You're going to get up early or you're not sleeping in your own bed. So
I never sleep at the retreat. And that's just because I'm afraid I'm going to miss something in the sewing room.
Right. I definitely have FOMO, fear of missing out.
Well, now on the same thing, I've been personally myself, and then I've had friends that are struggling in life or having a bad point in life, And just know that that can also be a place of healing, that you're going there to embrace everybody else's happiness, hopefully,
Right.
to help you lift you up. So
Right.
don't not go if you're not in a good mood. Just know that you need to
Right.
leave the attitude at the door.
Right. Just have the expectation.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be a little bit flexible and go with the
Yeah.
flow a little bit because you're
Right.
not in your own home. So
Yeah.
that's the big one. This shouldn't be
Yeah.
stressful. This shouldn't be,
Yeah.
it shouldn't keep you up for weeks before trying to figure out what you're going to do. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be a retreat. So if you
Yeah.
go into it with that attitude of,
Right.
I'm going to be
Right.
flexible. So that's the biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the next thing is to bring the right projects.
Mm-hmm. That's a
So,
big one. That's a really big
um,
one.
and it's going to depend on who you're going to a retreat with. So, if you're
Mm-hmm.
going with that group that is focused and is getting things done, you can bring a little bit more complicated project. You can,
Mm-hmm.
bring something that you might need help on or a project you've been avoiding at home. And if you just
Mm-hmm.
bring that one, then you're kind of forced to work on it and make progress on it. If you're going with people that are going to go to the wineries for lunch and then they're going to go shopping the next day and then they're going to hit the antique stores and then they're going to, stay home and goof around and laugh and have a couple cocktails, don't bring the complicated project because you're just going to get
Right.
mad at it. So
Yeah.
bring something that's like strip pieces or half
Mm-hmm.
square triangles or whatever. So bring something a little bit less complicated. So kind of know what kind of group you're going into, and that'll be
Right.
helpful. Come with something already cut out so you can sit down
Yeah.
and start sewing. So
Well,
that's
that's the thing. Like, if you cutting is the most common place to make the mistakes. Cutting is also like if you cut outside of your element, not on your cutting board, not with your rulers, not with your
mhm,
rotary cutter, you're likely to make mistakes. So yeah,
right.
that would be a big one for me. Is like just figure out what you're going to sew and have it cut before you go, but bring your extra fabric.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Bring that.
Bring the
Yeah,
extra fabric. But yeah, because cutting is, I think, the one place that you can make the mistake that it's hard to come back from.
correct.
So if you sew
Correct.
something wrong, you can seam rip it and start over. It's fine. But if you cut
Mm,
your squares 4.5 inches instead of 5, it's really hard to come back from that.
yeah.
So
But we would
almost,
figure it out.
well, yeah, can figure it out. So come with something cut. Make sure you bring the right kind of project.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's number two, the right project. Um, so those are things that you can do personally to make your experience
Mm,
better. Um,
right.
and then the rest of them are kind of a little bit more interactive in how to bring people
Right.
in and like have more fun as a group. So
Okay, so before you go into those, the other thing I would suggest is go to the retreat knowing your expectations. Like if you go in and say, I have to finish this quilt top, you're not going to really want to go to the wineries and go shopping, and you're going to, it adds stress to yourself. So know your group and know, you're bringing a project, but you may not finish it, and that's okay. Okay, so
exactly,
interactive things that
exactly.
you can do with your group.
Okay, so a lot of my groups plan games. They have door prizes. Some groups will
Mm,
come with raffle tickets, and you get
wow.
a ticket for every project you complete. You get a ticket for having a certain tool. You get so
Mm,
there's different little prizes that they hand out,
right.
little tickets, and then they pull door prizes every day or whatever. So that's just kind of a fun little thing.
Wow.
Usually the
That's a
person,
lot of thought.
it is a lot of thought. And so my friend Sandy, Sandy,
Hmm.
she has a birthday retreat at the lodge every year,
Oh,
and
nice.
she usually has really good games, and so we play games, and I think she uses it as a way to maybe clear out her stash. So
Oh,
she'll
nice.
bring like layer cakes and jelly rolls and patterns and different
Hmm.
notions and whatever, and those are her door prizes that she gives out. They're always really good.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so she just, time to turn
Yeah.
over the stock. And so
Yeah.
door prizes like that, just simple games. And then there's, even like one group will bring a bingo game and
Mm-hmm.
have different
Hmm.
prizes. Play bingo
Right.
one night. Another big one at the lodge is left, right, center.
Oh yeah, we played that a couple of
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Ours
So
was a
it's
ours was a drinking game though.
yeah. Um, so most groups will play it like for fat quarters. So the
Oh yeah,
game
yeah.
the
Yeah.
game originally, like if you're just going to play it for fun,
Hmm.
you start out with 3 chips and you
Right.
shake the dice, and if the dice will have a dot, an L, an R, or a C,
Hmm.
and if it has a dot, you keep
Hmm.
your chip. If it has a left, you pass it to the left, to the right, or to the center. So, and when you play it
Yeah.
with fat quarters, you end up with like 30 fat quarters at the end, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
So play it like with
nice.
a different theme every night. So you'll
Oh,
end up
that's
with
cool.
30 blue fat quarters or whatever. So that's
Yeah.
kind of a fun thing just to, you know, kind of get everybody up out of their seats and have a little bit of fun. Several groups have done the saran wrap ball, which is fun. Um,
I don't know the saran wrap ball.
so you take a thing of saran wrap and you start out with
Hmm.
the bigger prize and you wrap the saran wrap around
Hmm.
and cut it periodically so it's not one big long strip. And as you're wrapping it, you wrap in other little prizes.
Ooh.
And then each person, you go around and each person has a certain amount of time. Um, and if they can unwrap it, whatever comes off the ball while they're unwrapping it, they get those
Oh,
prizes.
that's cool. Yeah, no, I never played that
So
one.
that one can be a lot of fun and can get pretty competitive. So
I can't imagine people at the retreat being competitive.
I can't imagine. So things like that, just little
Hmm.
games where people can win door prizes. They don't have to be expensive.
Well, like you said, we all have stuff in our sewing
Right,
room. I mean, that would actually be a whole nother thing is like a white, not a white elephant sale, but like you
right.
bring your projects that you don't want to finish and everyone put them on the table and everybody pick a different project that they might
Yeah.
want to finish.
Hmm.
Just to move
Yeah.
some of the stuff out of your room. We all have extra fabric.
Yes.
I know you may not think so, but
So that's one other thing that a lot of my groups do. They will have a
Mhm.
sharing table. So they will bring things that they want to get rid of and just put it on the table and it's available for
Yeah,
anybody to take.
yeah,
So that's, you get to trade fabric with people. That's always fun. Um, so, different games that you can play are always fun. My advice would just be careful to balance it, to not do too many games.
hmm
Kind of know your audience a little bit. If you're in
hmm
that group that everybody wants to focus and get things done, don't plan 15 games. But usually it's, gives us all something to laugh about and, a little
yeah,
competitive and everybody likes to win it, even if it's just candy or a fat
hmm
quarter or whatever. So that's always, you know, something a little bit
hmm
fun to break up the time. So another thing that my groups will do is plan an outing. Um,
yeah. And there's some
so
nice places to go up
yeah,
there.
yeah. So the quilt shops up there give me coupons for my people. So a lot of times
Hmm.
they will plan um, a day of shopping and they'll go get lunch and then they'll go to the
Hmm.
quilt shops and maybe, some of the other little stores in town or antique stores or whatever. And it's just a chance to get out for a few hours. The retreats run from Wednesday to Sunday. So at
Yeah,
some
you
point in
need.
there, you might want to get out
Right.
and go do
I
something.
love going to the little glass. There's a
Yeah.
little glass store in downtown Dahlonega, and they sell these little mystery bags that are a couple bucks.
Yeah.
So I have all my little glass animals for each retreat that I've been there. So I mean, things like that's cool.
Yeah.
And you guys have a bunch of wineries opening up around there too.
Yeah. There's well over a dozen wineries that are
Yeah.
nearby
Yeah.
within, 10 or 15 minutes of drive. There's one that's a mile and a half down the road that has a really good lunch.
Hmm.
And then there's a wide variety. There's some that are a little more upscale. There's some that are very casual. There's, they all
Mhm.
have different personalities, just like quilt shops do. When you walk into a quilt shop, they all have
Right. Right.
different
And there's
personalities.
two
So
quilt shops within
20
driving
minutes.
distance of,
Yeah.
yeah. I've only been to one. I've been to the Common Thread, but yeah, scheduling an outing is always good just to kind of clear your head, and
Yeah.
it's usually by day 3 I'm like I'm ready to go get some fresh air and
Right.
be
Exactly.
out and about. So yeah.
Exactly. And at Coosa Mountain Lodge, I'm on 240 acres. So if you really do
Mhm.
just want some fresh air, go take a walk.
No,
Go.
I want fresh air that involves little glass animals and maybe some French fries and possibly some
Well,
crab
there's that
bread.
too. You,
Okay, but let's not go crazy. We're not going out in nature. No, no, no.
well, some people might want to.
Yeah,
Um,
not me.
so there is, at this time of year, there is a whippoorwill that,
A what?
a whippoorwill, a bird that
Okay.
is nocturnal
Mm.
and is very loud. Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, will wake everybody up. And the first day people are there, are like, whose alarm clock was going off at 3 o'clock in the
Uh-huh.
morning? No, it's a whippoorwill. So I think some of the ladies have threatened to go whippoorwill hunting.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
but no, that's not allowed. Do not go after my whippoorwill. Um, so
Do you have
you get the
earplugs in the
nature.
room?
If pardon,
Do you have earplugs in the room for
I
the?
do have earplugs available.
There
Yes.
you go.
So
Let's not hurt nature. I don't like
no,
it, but I don't want to hurt it.
no, no. So um, so like I was saying, there's wineries to go to.
Hmm.
Um, Saturday afternoon is usually a really nice time to go sit and have a
Right.
glass of wine. Make sure you have a designated driver. Do it safely.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a lot of opportunities in the
Hmm.
area for that.
Well, and that steps right into your next one. What if you don't have a designated driver and you want to do wine?
Well, I have a contact for somebody that will come and do a wine tasting at the lodge. Um, One of the groups that I was with a few weeks ago had him come, and he brought 5 different wines
Hmm.
and did a wine tasting for us. And we sat out on the patio and had the beautiful
Hmm.
view at sunset and tasted some wine. And then he had bottles that were available for purchase. So it worked out really well. There is
Yeah.
a fee for that. And if you're interested, I can help you get that information. But it was just really nice because we didn't have to drive anywhere. We didn't have to go
Mm-mm.
anywhere. And
No.
whoever wanted to participated. There were
Hmm.
some that were not interested. But it was a really nice evening. And um, I think the winery has well over 20 wines to choose
Mm.
from. So
Wow. Yeah.
I helped arrange it. I picked like 2 white wines, 2 reds, and a sweet. But if your
Mm.
group
Okay.
likes all red, he'll bring all red wines. Or if
Right. Right.
he
Right.
can
Right. He'll
tailor,
tailor it.
right. So that was a really nice thing to do to kind of break it up. So
Yeah.
the other thing is I've had other teachers come in and do classes. We did the alcohol ink classes.
Hmm.
Somebody has come in and done candle making. Somebody
Mm.
else came in. Somebody's going to have an ice dyer come in and teach ice dyeing. So there's a lot of resources in the area up there to
Hmm.
have somebody else come in and teach a class.
Right.
And the people that you're on retreat with might also be able to do a make and take and teach a class.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, we
um,
had that happen with my last retreat.
mhm,
Joan was there, and I liked the bag with the bow, and she did an impromptu class, which
yep,
involved a quilt shop run.
yep,
But that wasn't a scheduled class, but a bunch of us made those bags, and they were
yeah,
really fun. So as a group, you could probably come up with something.
correct,
I
correct.
used to go to an art camp in Texas when I was really early on,
Hmm.
and what they did was each camp it rotated, and one person brought a medium and taught it.
Oh,
So like
wow.
one time there was like a female clay artist. One time we dyed like 30 pounds of fabric because the lady was a fabric dyer, and
Wow.
one was a embroidery person, one was a watercolor person. So
Hmm.
I mean that's not quilting, but you could do it so each retreat, like one
Right.
person will bring something and teach a new skill to the group.
Right.
And just
And
break it up. Make it something small and easy.
right.
Yeah.
And just because you try a new skill doesn't mean you have to have a new hobby.
Well, I do, but no,
Well,
everybody else
you're special, Heidi.
does. I am
But,
special.
but, it's good to learn different mediums and see how those techniques and ideas can
Hmm.
apply to your quilting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
That's a good one.
another thing that's really fun is doing show and tell.
Mm.
So, a lot of the groups will do a themed show and tell.
Oh, nice.
So, like bring your first quilt, or bring the
Hmm.
worst quilt you ever made, or
Hmm.
the one you're proudest of, or your Halloween quilt, or whatever.
Right.
So it's kind of
Right.
cool to see the different quilts that people have made over the years, and you know, everybody likes to
Well, and
get
it's
compliments
nice.
on their work, and
It's also nice to see finished quilts at quilt camp. You
yes,
never really
oh yeah,
see other than the ones in the lodge. We
right,
all come with pieces and parts. So to bring a finished quilt and say, "This I finished this. Look at
right.
what I did." So
This is what I was working on last quilt camp.
yeah.
This is, so pick a theme and do a show and
Hmm.
tell, which is a really
Right.
nice
Right.
fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And then,
Um, one thing that we do at our camp that I didn't see on your list, which is really fun, is we do happies. We like at it started to be a secret. Like you didn't know who it was, and everyone would go to bed, and like one person would sneak out and put a little present on everybody's
oh
machine.
yeah,
And it was always like, something about at the Dollar Tree. We were never, breaking the
hmm
bank. But now it's like we all guess. We're like, oh, who did this one? So now we find out who did what. But
hmm
just little happies are fun.
right,
Just
yeah.
something that people aren't expecting, like Mary and her giraffes. She had these little giraffes she was hiding everywhere, and I came home and I found another one in my suitcase, and so it just makes you
Just
happy,
one,
makes you smile.
just
When
one.
I got back,
You only found
well,
one.
I had the ones that I already found in my shoe and
Okay,
in my bag, but then I found one in my suitcase as well. So,
okay. You didn't totally unpack then.
oh, all right. Well, we are leaving again tomorrow. I'm sure it'll show up. So,
Okay.
so it's just like a happy thing to make people
Yeah,
laugh and
yeah,
smile. It's
yeah.
fun. Um, okay, so you did show and tell. Next one, you have a couple more here that are really good ideas.
Okay.
I have the cheat sheet list. It was placemats.
Yeah. So, one group that I had come did this, and I thought it was very clever. They had everybody bring a placemat that they made or purchased or whatever. Just everybody brought a different placemat, and then whoever was preparing dinner put the placemats out on the table, and that's where you sat. So you sit where your placemat is. So that means that you're moving around and you're not necessarily sitting next to the buddies that you came to retreat with. You might have to sit next to somebody else and get to know somebody else a little bit. So, we
Right.
all tend to get in our ruts where we sit and talk to the same people at dinner or whatever. And when
Mhm.
there's 15 people, you
Mhm.
can get in that rut. But them rearranging those placemats made it so you had to sit in different places, which was really cool. And then I
Yeah.
think what they did, they actually collected them and donated them to the Meals on Wheels program, which was also very cool.
Oh. Oh,
So,
that would be so you'd always just make a new placemat.
right.
Yeah, I think that's awesome with the Meals on Wheels. I was just at a group that they made, I don't know, 800 placemats last year just for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was cute. I think that because we do it when I go to teach, I try to sit next to different people, but that kind of does force you to be a little more
Yeah.
social.
Yeah.
So
Get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So,
yeah. Yeah, and that goes right into the last one. You're doing really good with the segues here.
so help me out with the last one. My segues.
Charity.
Oh, yeah. So, a lot of the groups they'll set aside an afternoon, or they will
Mhm.
bring quilt kits already cut up, blocks already cut up. We'll
Sorry,
do
there's Doodles.
hi doodles.
She's saying hi to everybody. Doodles. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Charity.
Quite all right. So, especially guilds will bring a charity project for everybody to work
Mhm.
on. So it's
Right.
not like the whole retreat that you're doing charity sewing, but they'll do
Right.
one afternoon where they do pillowcases. Or
Right.
um, I had one guild come, and the president of the guild had the quilt all cut out, and everybody, it was a really pretty quilt that had like rows of tulips and then
Mm.
rows of like daisies. So everybody made a flower,
Oh, that's cool.
sewed it into
That's
the
cool.
row, and made the quilt. So it wasn't a
Yeah.
huge
Mm-hmm.
time commitment, but it was
Right.
something
Right.
collaborative, and you know,
Yeah. It makes
everybody
you feel
worked
good.
together to get it done. Yeah. So
Yeah.
some sort of charity
Yeah.
project is a
Yeah.
really good thing.
Those
So
are all very good ideas. And not that, I mean, like for me, I get so excited because I go to two retreats a year that I'm not teaching, that I'm just going and relaxing. And I'm saying hi to all my camp buddies because they all listen to this. But I get so excited. I'm like weeks ahead of time, ready to start planning on going. But you can get there. You can get in a rut.
yeah.
You can be in a bad mood. All these
Mhm.
things happen. But you just need to know, to adjust your attitude. Know you're not at home.
Yep.
Try to have some fun, excitement, or fun events, and try not to sit at your machine for 4 days straight because
Yeah.
that'll make you cranky.
Yeah.
You
It
know.
could. It could. Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
and at Kusa, we've got the fire pit outside. We've got
Mhm.
marshmallow sticks. You can start a campfire if the weather's decent and sit
Mhm.
outside and roast marshmallows. There's
I hope to do that in August when we do my retreat in August because my retreats next year are February, August, November. In February and November, it's usually too cold
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's raining. So maybe in August we could
Yeah,
do the fire
hopefully
pit.
that would be
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we'll get some roasted
Yeah.
marshmallows out there for you. So, but just like with anything, just be creative and try new things. And it's a retreat. If it doesn't work, then don't do it
Yeah.
again next year. So,
Yeah. And so I know that a lot of our listeners probably have gone to retreats. And so if Mary missed anything on her list, just leave it in the comments because
yeah,
one, we'd both be curious, and two, she could
yeah,
then pass it on to
yeah,
many
absolutely.
of her groups that go there, and they can all try something different. I love the placemat one. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
think about that one.
I like that one. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that would be good for guild meetings too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because a couple of the guilds that I've belonged to, I go and sit and
Yeah.
talk to the same people each time.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta make those people move around and
Be a
talk.
social butterfly.
Exactly. So yeah,
All
let
right.
us know.
Well, anything else that you could think of that we need to know for fun camp or fun retreat? See, I call it camp. We call it quilt camp.
Yeah. One thing
Sounds
that's
like we're
really
Girl Scouts.
fun for me is when people
Mhm.
bring me presents. So I like
Am I not surprised?
I know, I'm sassy.
I
It's okay.
know.
But
I,
if you don't
I
ask,
like.
you can't.
I love presents too. I actually we just did one before this about H&H, and I was surprised that a couple of our clients brought us gifts. It was so unexpected and not required, but it's just a little something to say, hey, we
Yeah,
appreciate you and appreciate what you've done. And I'm sure that when people bring you stuff, that's
yeah.
it. It's not that they just looked you in the eye and but
Oh, yeah. So I did have a few people at H&H look me in the eye. So I came away with some really good samples. Yeah.
just that's an inside joke. We will explain it in an episode at some point. But yes, no. Mary has one of those faces that people just want to give her things. It's a
I don't
lovely
I don't
it's a
understand.
lovely gift to have.
It really is.
So
And I'm
yeah,
not
because I
afraid to
gave you
ask for
I
things.
gave you a bunch of things because my suitcase was too small.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I know.
it's good to
So
be rooming with the person with the carry-on suitcase.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But so
Right.
we are both off on adventures. So are you working on anything? Or are you just sort of trying to just get ready to go out the
I'm
door?
just trying to get ready to go out the door. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we both leave in the morning, and you guys will, by the time you guys hear this podcast, I will be back.
Yeah. I'll probably
You
be
will
back.
almost be back.
Yeah.
So, but As always, we appreciate the comments below and that you guys take time to listen to us yammering about quilty things. And we got lots coming up and lots going on. I know I got all kinds of things going on. I actually got asked to teach on like 2 more cruises this week.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean,
Fun.
it comes ebbs and flows. And this week I'm popular. Everybody wants to talk to me, and lots of big things planned going forward. So make sure you stay tuned in and hear all about it. And I guess our next one we'll find out about how each of our adventures were. I am going on a short flight. You are going on a very long flight. So
yes, 16 hours. So
have fun.
It'll be okay. So the airline lets us buy the seat in between us, so we'll have an extra seat for like $200.
Nice. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
For 16 hours, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No. So yeah, hopefully we'll get the middle seat. We had the middle seat open on all our flights back and forth to Chicago this time, which was lovely.
Oh, nice.
But tomorrow's flight, I think, is only 3 hours. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Just enough time to pull something out and work on it. So we'll do that. But all right, I'm going to let you go pack because I got to go pack. And we see you guys when we get back from our adventures. So we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.